trying to get crazy when they sing. Don't you know I'm loco?
But that's all we had. We lived off merch. But, you know, we would drive through the night. I mean, one of the tours, first tours we left, we literally left from San Diego, and our first show was in, like, outside Miami. Yeah. So we drove all the way across.
We weren't known, so we were
playing wherever they let us.
We would do that one festival Sonny was talking about, Cornerstone Fest, and that's what kind of when we started meeting people that were in other cities. Like we played that and they're like, hey, we seen you guys at Cornerstone.
Our demo started getting out.
Yeah, will you come play my city? And we were just writing it.
What's up, everybody? This is Bobby Ruiz, a.k.a. Bobby Tribal, and welcome to the Lower Left Podcast. We're right here in San Diego, 17th and Island, and it's time for that family time again.
Yes. A family reunion.
More family in the house. Man, these dudes. If you know Tribal, you know these dudes, because these dudes have been down forever, since day one. Also from San Diego. Representing the
619
Southtown. That's right. I got my brothers Wuv and Sonny's from P.O.D.
Yes. It's good to be here.
Welcome.
Finally, you asked us, dude. Man. I was like, dang, we're not getting no love. We've been down from the beginning.
Nope.
I'm hearing all kinds of people on podcasts. Everybody's like, well, what's up? You didn't get the call. I said, Bobby lost my number, dude. I don't know what's up.
I started feeling sorry for you a little bit.
Yeah. Exactly.
But we just didn't want to, you can't just give them all the best stuff right out the gate. Okay. You got to kind of like little by
What
little.
number is this?
I don't know. You're asking hard. He comes in, starts asking hard
Johnny,
questions.
how many you guys?
Hey, you ask the questions. Right? You ask the
yeah. Listen, buddy.
I asked the questions.
I'll ask the questions here.
He's like, we're on our. Oh, at 14. I thought he was gonna be like, we're like on our 200th. I'm like, dang, it took us that long.
14's good. 14.
Dude, you hit peak.
Our 10th series.
Yeah. Nah, we're we're trying to pace ourselves here. We can't just be like giving them all.
That's right.
So plus, I know you guys have been real busy, so I didn't want to even though I saw you a couple days ago, and then the week before that,
Bobby invited me to come here to do someone else's podcast.
Yeah,
I came to Tribal thinking I was doing his podcast.
He's like,
psych.
And then he stuck me with somebody else.
And he's like, oh yeah, I forgot to ask you guys. You guys want to do the Tribal podcast?
Yeah, no, shout out the Hard Luck Show.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all the same family. So they go, hey, we're down here. We want to do some things with some of the local heroes. So here you are. So what's up with you guys? What have you been doing? Like, how's COVID been treating you and all that time off and stuff
Just
like that?
a lot of weight gain.
No, you
COVID pounds.
Look trimmer than I think I've seen you in a long time, though.
That's because
he's working hard.
Yeah.
You can see him right now.
That's because do we say it like we did it, or pretend like it's coming up or something?
What's that?
The show.
No, we could say it. We did it. We did it.
Yeah,
It's a concert series.
Yeah, we got a concert series that we recorded at Petco Park. So the band, I see my cousin obviously at like family functions, but Trey, like the last show we did was 2019 on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, we did two shows: New Year's Day for the college bowl game, and the New Year's Eve night, and that's the last time I think we've all seen Trey and then COVID hit, and it was like, so anyways, a couple weeks ago we got together for 9 days and rehearsed like all day long, all day night, all night long, and then we shot the show. So everybody was trying to shed a little pounds, what I mean? Because we knew we were going to be on the camera and everything, but everybody looked good.
For sure.
Trey looked really good.
I felt good. You guys even invited me to go check it out. That was cool. I felt
it was
good.
fun.
But no, it was fun, and I'm excited to see how it turns out because it was badass. So what's the info on that, Sonny? When are the dates and how can people check it out and stuff like that?
I think we did 3 sets. The first set is May 13th, satellite set. Then 2 weeks after that, following Saturday, Fundamental Elements of Southtown from front to back.
Damn.
And then 2 weeks after that, again, Saturday, all rarity set. Songs we haven't done in 20 years, a lot of independent songs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Some soundtrack songs.
So it's a three-part series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
pretty
Spread
much.
out between 2 weeks.
2
That's
weeks,
dope.
2 weeks in between each showing.
And how long is each set? Are they identical in length or
No, it's just, I mean, we'll have some interludes and stuff. Maybe, obviously we were at Petco. We got a lot of camera footage, drone footage. So we'll intertwine, we might even do some interviews. But we're looking at anywhere from 75 minutes, 80 minutes.
Was there an audience there? Or?
No, just friends and
How
family.
did that feel?
we were saying to each other, it was like the first set, we were having some technical difficulties with the Pro Tools, and so we had to start and stop a couple times. And Marcos was on the side. He's like, "Dude, this is weird." I'm like, "Dude, just pretend like it's like a video, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Like a video.
we're professionals. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We've been doing this for 30 years, so it's kind of had to dig deep. But once we did, when we started diving into the songs that like we hadn't played for, like Sonny said, in over 20 years, then it just became like fun. You know what I mean? Which it's always fun.
Yeah.
But, you got to get to that headspace. Especially when you're like not playing in front of an audience. You just kind of do your thing.
I think we held off all through COVID. There's bands that have done 4 and 5, 6 live streams already, but we kind of held off because we're a live band that feeds off the crowd. So you can't capture that on a live stream, or with no audience.
Yeah.
So we kind of put it off for a while, but here we are as time's gone by. It's like our fans are like, when are you guys gonna do that? So
yeah, do something.
so we right, do something.
Yeah, we were slacking.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
yeah.
that much.
So we kind of had no choice, but
Yeah.
you just kind of dive in. I think because we hadn't played in so long, it was fun.
Yeah.
and I think just concentrating on remembering lyrics or parts, and we did over 40 songs.
It was a lot.
Wow.
So it's like you kind of just
And you remember,
You don't think about
and
it.
I always think about that with live bands and people that have as much material as you guys do
Yeah.
over the years, like doing a show like that. Like, do you have like cue cards or any
No,
cheat
dude.
cards or anything? That
I
you
mean, at
help-
first I was like, I probably need a prompter just to, you just need hints. I don't need the whole song. I just need the first line, or sometimes it's the first word, and then the muscle memory kicks in. But then I think we looked into it. They want like $1,000 for just a prompter. I was like, heck
Screw
no,
that.
dude, I ain't paying
Do your
$1,000.
homework.
Yeah. So I did, but there were a couple times where the guys start, and then right when I come into my line, I draw a blank, and then. And I'm, all right, stop.
Everybody
and then,
laughs, like,
no, then I'll ask somebody. I'll look back. What's the first line? And he forgets, and then he's thinking, and then he'll tell me. I'm like, got it.
Yeah.
It's just muscle memory,
And then
you know.
Wovey too. I was talking to you the day you guys were recording, and he's like, sometimes I go. It depends on who's got to kick it off.
Yeah.
Like if it's Marcos or Trey or Wovey, and then it's like,
You forget.
you
just
forget. Like you just forget.
That's why, I mean, like when we first heard from our management, they're like, okay, it's nailed down, Petco Park. And then you kind of panic a little bit because he's like, you're doing 3 sets. And you're like, 3 sets.
Which
like,
nobody does, by the
Huge.
way.
Yeah,
but
nobody-
these are
nobody's-
big ass sets.
yeah, everybody goes in and does 1 set.
Yeah.
Like we went in and we're talking, seriously, some of the songs were like 28 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 27 years old. And some of them we never even played live. You know what I mean? And then some we did that we had with Jason that Marcos never played
Right.
at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not even recording them. So I remember like midway through, a couple weeks out, like it was a Saturday and I was rehearsing the tunes and I freaking text the whole band. I said, "Yeah, I'm praying for you guys." For real, this is a lot to learn.
For your memory.
I tell you, that's so sad, man. Especially you, dude. That's a lot of lyrics, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a lot of lyrics.
And you got it. You
Yeah, you
nailed
got
it.
Yeah, we did it.
It looked like, I mean, from what I would, because like I said, I went and watched for a while. You look like you were having fun.
Yeah.
But I think I saw you the next day, and you look
We were
like
sore.
you were getting a workout. Like
Yeah,
you
no,
were,
we all
getting
did.
it, and all you guys were getting it. So
Yeah.
I know that next day.
Yeah, we were hurting.
Yeah, the next day we were here.
Yeah,
But even
All day.
even
Yeah.
during practice, some of the practices we cut short because even one point, Wolf was like, I can't even move my wrist. I can't.
Yeah.
He's just like little drummer boy, stiff arms. So we're like, let's
old, dude.
not kill ourselves. Even the guys, their hands were bleeding, from just the calluses on their fingertips
heavy.
because they haven't played that heavy in over a year.
Yeah.
They probably noodle at home, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
not, when you're playing, you go for it. And I was worried because, I haven't moved and, COVID pounds, the whole nine, once you get moving, and so like I literally was cramping up on stage during songs, and, cause, we,
Yeah. It did. I mean, you couldn't tell. I mean, when I was there,
Well, you
you
just
couldn't
kind of,
tell. I mean, sheesh.
you feel like you don't do your best, that's for sure. But you're like, at this point, by the time we even got to satellite, it would have been an all day thing. It was already nighttime. It was cold. It's like, that's good enough. You know, you're just like, dude, I don't even know if I'm going to make it.
Right.
Remember my voice, it's the same thing, you know?
Yeah, like being on tour,
Yeah.
but doing like 3 shows in one night.
Oh, dude, it's unheard of. And no, I don't think any band's done this. If anything, they probably spread it out on the
Honestly,
weekend.
I can't wait to see it. And
I think it's gonna
it'll
look good.
be, it's a pay-per-view event.
Yeah.
I
Online, like
think it's like Mandolin. I mean, you can go to payableondeath.com and you can buy the bundle. You can buy one show or you can get all 3, you know.
And
I think
a t-shirt.
I think
And-
some
yeah.
cool company hooked up with us and
Yeah.
think-
Yeah. Sheesh. So some semi-cool.
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
nobody else left. So,
But hey, you know what's cool on that is because Tribal did the satellite. You work with Atlantic Records,
Yep.
to do the satellite P.O.D. Release,
Yeah.
of the record, right?
Yep.
Which was 20 years ago,
Yep.
and then now we're working with you guys to do the 20-year anniversary.
yeah.
Came
Which
out
it-
really nice. Shout
Yeah.
out Herman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Herman
yeah, yeah.
Placencia
Herman
got down on that.
Placencia. He killed it.
Yeah, he's the man. That's exciting, dude.
Yeah, it's
So
cool.
payableondeath.com.
Yeah.
Or they can probably go to your IGs and they can find links there, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the other
That.
things. Watch Mandolin on Instagram.
Watch Mandolin.
Yeah, that's the
That's
company's
the
called
company,
Mandolin.
yeah.
Yeah, but if you go to the Instagram, it's Watch Mandolin.
I guarantee you will not be disappointed.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful stage setup. It was at Petco Park here in San Diego.
Yeah.
They did a great job setting that up.
They
so
went above and beyond for us. So we felt really lucky that they would do. I mean, they turned on the stadium lights. They had our name, you know, and all the LED screens all in the park.
You know
So-
why? Because you guys are POD, dog. You guys are the San Diego band, that San Diego band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I won't talk too much shit, but yeah.
They went. They really did go above and beyond. And then I know you mentioned earlier, live audience. They got so excited that they said, "How about for the satellite set, we open it up to the public and we'll do the social distancing and we'll still have some people come in." And then we agreed, but then I think they thought bigger picture. You know, Padres are doing good. They're like, why don't we just have you guys come back? You know, once COVID opens up a little more, hopefully the rules will go and the stadium will be sold out. And then they're like, then you guys can do a free concert for
I remember
Padre
you
fans.
guys did that
Did it
like
before.
10 years ago or something.
We did
Yeah,
it
couple
twice,
times.
I think. That was
Yeah.
like Caminetti. That was,
Yeah, we did it the first time when was it Caminetti?
and I remember Caminetti rocking
catcher.
out. Yeah, on the side of the
Yeah, the
stadium.
catcher Caminetti. Remember Ken
Yeah.
Caminetti?
He was
I
there.
have pictures. I have some pictures from that. Isaac was like a
sick.
little tiny
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Like just,
And then we did it again.
And then we did it,
probably
yeah,
like
a couple years
five,
later.
four,
but
5
hopefully if they could do the stage setup like you guys had, do
Right,
it right
right.
there, like that would be badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. A night
We gotta
game.
yep.
especially if
It's
the,
got to be a night game.
the way the Padres are killing it. I mean, if we get close to, no
doubt.
we get close to playoff time, you know, that'll be,
I'm
That
excited.
they've been playing great, man. That's
Yeah.
Good for the city.
last series they did with the Dodgers.
oh yeah, smoked them.
awesome.
That was a shout out to Bobby Romero.
That was good.
That's the boy. That's the homie. We go back and forth on that. So, what'd you do during COVID? Did you guys write? Did you rehearse? Did you just pretty much stay around the pad or?
Pretty much. I mean, like Wolf said, the last show we played was New Year's Eve into January 1st, 2020. We had stuff, fly out dates all through March, April, May, and then we were going to go to Europe in June. And then once February rolled around and this thing started popping off, they said, you guys are going to be home for 2 months. And then we knew things were going to get canceled, you know?
Yeah.
So everything got canceled, but it was cool. We had toured so much, you know, or we've been touring for almost 30 years, too much.
Yeah.
So it was nice to be like, oh, do nothing, just
Yeah.
sit home, be with our, you know, our families. And then, but then once that 2 months ended, it got kind of scary. You know?
Like I think that's one industry that got hit really hard, and people think that it's just the musicians, or like
No,
people
it's-
in the band. It's a whole
yeah.
It's
industry.
the crews, it's the venues. I mean,
Venues,
there's legendary
promoters.
venues. Yeah, promoters,
Everybody.
concert promoters. There's legendary venues that we've played. We've been lucky to play throughout our career that, you know, we were seeing on Instagram, like, oh, shut down after 35, 40 years, you know?
Yeah.
So that was sad. But, but I always say this, we're a blue collar working band, so we make money.
You know what?
Still hustling.
I'm gonna say, like, you dudes, one thing that I love about you guys, and I have a lot of respect for you guys, and you already know that, like, whatever. But there's bands out there and people that reach your level or sell as many records as you do, and they change.
Yeah.
They change their style. They change the music too much. They change the way that they dress. They just change their presence. You're one of, like, most of the homies that we kick it with, the dudes from Cyprus, you guys, the guys from Limp, everybody besides Wes, of course. But
he can be whatever he wants.
Wes, he could do whatever he wants. Right? But we're all the same.
Yeah.
And then there's bands that they reach a certain level and their style gets all flipped out and they start freaking out, or they get too flossy, or I don't know. But I admire the fact that you guys are the same. Like we're all
pretty much.
Basically, Bobby just wants to. He likes it because we're still wearing tribal.
Yeah. Well, you caught that. Yeah. And I thought I was being sly too.
Man. I'll rock that till the death.
Man. But not for reals. I was thinking about that, and there's a lot of bands that happens to, or rock bands that happens to. Yeah. I think the Deftones are like that too. They just chill. They seem like they're the. Yeah. And Sonny's got his Deftones shirt on.
Yeah, man.
By the way.
Great band.
Yep. So
one of our favorites.
I know you guys have been, and Johnny talks too much.
Johnny's got a mic in front of his thing. But
I don't want to interject.
No, Johnny, feel free, because I'm sure there's some things that But I know you guys have toured all over the world multiple times. I know you guys have an amazing fan base in South America.
Yeah,
all over Europe. You've been to Russia. You've been everywhere. Pretty much everywhere.
I think everywhere but Africa.
Really?
Yeah, so it's on our bucket list. It's gotten canceled every time.
Calling Africa.
Yeah.
Hit them up. Or DM me, Sonny, anybody.
Just hit us on the DM.
Yeah.
Africa, hit us up.
That's right. But, and I know this is tough for you guys because you have fans, badass, loyal fans all over the world because, I've seen them. But we'll start with Wuvy on this one. Where's your favorite, besides San Diego, of course, because that's the shows here always the best. But where's your favorite spot to play in the world?
The fans are the fans. They're always showing like respect and like admiration and like just intensity. You know what I mean? But for me, like playing like country wise.
Country venue, whatever.
It's hard.
That's hard, dude. I mean, South
I told
America.
You it was a hard.
South America is in the whole thing is like its own entity. You know what I mean? Different. I don't know.
I thought, you know what? And I thought you were going to say that because I know how passionate and how your South American fans.
But Europe's like that too. You know what I mean? Russia's like that too. When you go to Russia, it's crazy.
Yeah.
They're nuts. They're like they go crazy.
I think in South America, they're it's a different breed of people that's Latin influence culture, very passionate. You know what I mean? So our fans everywhere are awesome and their shows are awesome, but it's a different type of love, in South America. You know what I mean? I think it just comes throughout their culture and their roots. And for a while there, it took us probably almost close to 20 years to even get there. So when we first started going to Brazil, kids they'd drive, 2 days just to see a show because in their mind it was like they're never going to come back. And this is the first time they did, never going to come back. The U.S. is spoiled with music. You can see a show in your town, especially whatever concerts every night. But it's not like that in a lot of these countries that we haven't been able to go to. So ever since we went over to South America, they've just, you see them on Instagram.
I know. I've seen videos and I've seen
it. Don't matter what you post. Like, when you going to come to Brazil?
Where did Mike Kelly fall off the stage?
Brazil.
That was in Goiânia, Brazil.
Woo. Yeah. What happened?
The thing was with that show was during that time, like they don't play you don't go on stage till late at night anyways, cause it's so hot. So we weren't set to like play till like 12 midnight or 1.
It was like 2, 3 in the morning.
We didn't end up going on till like 2 or 3 in the morning. You know what I mean? There's like 10,000 kids out there. So we hit the stage and the crowds are going nuts. I think Sonny jumped into the crowd. And the stage was like 10 feet high. It was huge.
It was abnormally. It wasn't a normal stage.
Yeah, it was
higher than normal.
We saw that it was high, but even the first song, normally I'll just jump out, off the stage. But I actually sat on my butt and I kind of slid off because I knew it was high.
Yeah.
So I was conscious of it. And even when I landed, it's kind of dark. You don't perceive the height. Yeah. So it's like, oh, dude, that was seriously high. But I jumped into the crowd and apparently my mic wasn't working, but I didn't know that. I can't hear that. I'm in the crowd, I'm everybody's faces. And then here's Mike Kelly, our drum tech at the time. He hears that I can't be heard. So he grabs the spare, he runs and jumps over the front monitors, not forgetting how high the stage was. And so when he landed, he just snapped. His leg snapped.
10 plus feet.
Oh
right?
yeah,
With
so he's literally over 2-story.
Dude,
wow, it was bad.
But literally, we looked down and you could see
no, he was twisted.
The bone was outside. So he broke his ankle so that the blood came out like that.
It cut through skin. It snapped through both his femurs.
Wow.
But I'm in the crowd and so people are holding me up, but they can see behind me or the side of me, and they're trying to point at me and telling me, he's.
Your boy's
something's up, yeah. So I finished the song. I remember it was Set It Off. Finished the song. I have to go to the side stage and catch the stairs because I can't climb up the stage. And then Marcos is already going into Boom, but everybody's pointing at me like they're pointing at him, but letting me know that Mike's down there. So Marcos goes into the riff, and then I look down. And that's when I seen him, and he's screaming. Right, I stopped Marcos from playing, and then at this point we had to wait. It took probably over an hour for just the ambulance to come because this was third world style.
So the ambulance had to go through literally there's 10,000 kids.
Goiânia is very tropical, so it's very laid back. It's like just to get through the crowd alone, it took a minute. So he was there for a minute. And, we're already, by this point, it's probably 3:30 in the morning. We're thinking we're going to wrap it up. And then they're like, you got to keep playing.
And because they were waiting for you.
Yeah,
the fans were
you got to keep playing. So we went through a whole set knowing that he was on his way to the hospital and he'd snapped his leg.
I know Mike, he lived with that for a long time. He's probably still messed up.
He'll never be 100%. Yeah, I mean, it killed, it killed nerves. It killed.
You think that's one of the gnarliest things that has happened on tour?
Yeah, he was.
As far as an injury goes.
The thing that was jacked was he had to stay there. We had to finish the tour for another couple weeks. He was there for over a month.
Take your own drums?
Oh man, I'll do that, man. Come on, man. That ain't no big deal to me.
No, I know that.
But no, he was with us for 12 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Solid. He's part of the family. But we had to leave him there, and so we went back home.
Yeah,
and he was still there for a month.
I remember we had a video of him.
I put a video up on the thing. It's bad.
Yeah. He couldn't fly because he couldn't elevate that high with all the different arteries and all the things and veins and stuff going on. So, but the problem was even Goiânia, it's more of a third world, and not third world, but you know what I mean?
It's the hood of Brazil.
It's the hood of Brazil.
Yeah, it's the hood of Brazil.
Even when we went, the next day we went to go see him, and we were looking and we're like, bro, this is not good. No disrespect to Brazil. It's like, this is not good. I mean, there was people. If you know Brazil, there's a lot of motorcycle deaths. There's people literally in the waiting room bleeding and sitting on chairs. And we're looking at this looks like a movie. People waiting to be seen. And so it was bad. But so we had to leave him. We had no choice.
Yeah.
So even by the time they performed surgery and all that stuff, when he finally was able to go home, he had to redo everything because they just don't have the same technology we do.
Yeah. So take everything out.
No,
so basically
break it
what
all
they just stabilized them so they could get him out of there.
That's basically what it was. They just duct taped him up so he can get over to the States.
So you think that was the craziest stuff, as far as injuries goes, that ever's happened on any of the tours?
As far as we're concerned, I mean, it wasn't one of us, but
you see people with broken bones all the time, and we'll see him after shows, and
but this was pretty
traumatic. And it was life changing, for him, So
I was talking to Noah.
Shout out to Mike Kelly, man.
That's right,
for
love
sure.
Man. Papa Noah, Wub's dad, a couple weeks ago, and he was telling me about the early tours when you guys were just no money.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
trying to like scrounge up enough to get to the next show. Like this is real.
Yeah.
Real shit.
Yeah.
And then you'd get to a show. He was saying sometimes we play a show and there's like 6 people there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he said then one time something about he had like $5 and gambled it, or how much was it?
Yeah. Well, we were coming from a show. It was hot, middle of the summer, and I think we were in New Orleans or somewhere outside
Louisiana,
somewhere where it was hot and just muggy.
In a van or motorhome.
We had one of my homies' cars. I think my dad's old Explorer and a trailer, my dad's landscape trailer that we put our.
Yeah.
All
And
our
how
gear
old
in.
were you guys?
20,
early 20s.
Yeah. But we were so tired we just pulled into a casino parking lot. We were just sleeping in the car, and like
I was sleeping on the bumper.
Yes, on the tongue.
On the tongue. Yeah, on the tongue.
In between the trailer and the puller. And we were just miserable, man. We were like we didn't have enough money for a hotel. My dad goes into the it was a Harris casino. I remember that. He rolls in there with Trey and just to go wash up, in the bathroom, and he puts his $5 in the machine and hits like a jackpot for like $200 or something like that.
Got you.
So he comes back and he's like, guys, let's go get a hotel room. So we went and got the most flea bag.
Yeah, one room.
like
10
it
guys.
was like this. Yeah, one room, but the lady was in there with Ajax, like, clean, we rolled in, she sprinkled some water. The Ajax was still in the thing.
Yeah.
The pool, and we were happy to be in because it was AC.
Yeah.
And we literally just hit the ground and everybody sleeping on the ground.
I think he went to church to KFC, got like a bucket of chicken, and we were stoked,
Yeah.
But we
was
would
that
play
the first tour, or that was?
We only toured
That might have been.
because we were all working. We played locally, but the first time we went out was in '94, and that was we jumped on some other guys we knew their tour and just opened up for them because we were all headed to like this cool festival out in Illinois somewhere. That was probably around. I think it was that trip.
Yeah.
But we in order to get gas for the next venues, like it's all because t-shirts.
Yeah, t-shirts.
So we would kill it in t-shirts, and at that point we were slinging cassette tapes, But that's all we had. We lived off merch. But we would drive through the night. I mean, one of the first tours we literally left from San Diego, and our first show was in like outside Miami. So we drove all the way across.
We weren't known, so we were
playing wherever they let us.
We would do that one festival Sonny was talking about, Cornerstone Fest, and that's what kind of when we started meeting people that were in other cities. Like we played that and they're like, hey, we seen you guys at Cornerstone.
Our demo started getting out.
Yeah, will you come play my city? And we were just writing it. Like Ruben Torres was working with my dad's independent label then, so he'd just be writing people's info down, and we would just be doing our own tours. But they were like wild. Like Sonny said, we'll do first show like way out there, and then the next show way out there. Nothing was close, so we were spending money like trying to save up for gas.
We would only tour in the it was in the summer. I remember '94 because we all worked, but we would take a few weeks off from whatever our jobs were at the time, and then we would just give it a shot. And then it wasn't until we'd go '95, same thing. And by after 2 years of this, and then just keep working, we were getting offers to play more places, more little clubs and stuff like that. And then
we all quit our jobs at the same time.
Come '96, it was like, hey, dude, we can book a tour. Not just in the summertime, we can do it all year round. So, Wuv and I were working at Hotel Del Coronado at the time. Trey had a really good job.
I think Trey's the only one that's ever had a real good job.
Yeah, he's the only professional.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think Wuv at the time he had a little son. He was married. Trey was married with 2 kids, and we just went for it. We're like, dude, if we're getting booked all year long, we'll. So
what album was out? Brown.
Snuff the Punk and Brown at that time. But we would, dude, if we got like a good payday, say on merch,
we were straight.
We would go straight to Wells Fargo. What is it, Western Union or whatever?
No, we would go to the post office.
Yeah.
And we would get money orders,
send
the
a
old
couple
school money orders,
$100.
and we would send it to our families back home, our wives.
Yeah.
And that's how we would stay on the road, and we would just send money to pay the bills.
But we play shows, and we after the show, we're like, dude, meet us back at the merch booth. We're going to be back there hanging out. And it was always the fans that came up, and they would there'd be nights where we'd slang it in merch, and we're like, dude, this is not
like we're making money.
I mean, if you made a few $100 back then, this was like, dude, we're killing it, right? So if we got to pocket we would separate. Okay, this is gas money. Get us to the next place. And we got a couple $100 each in our pocket. We'd send it home.
Who was managing those tours?
Us.
Yeah.
Beach?
No,
we had homies with us.
Yeah.
the first 2 years, like homies would come out because it was just more like a little
Yeah.
vacation.
And it's cool because all those homies still come around.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all those dudes are still part of the
Yeah,
family.
there ain't.
yeah.
They're all the same.
Good dudes. And I know you guys later on after you got going, you know, I know how the industry works. Like you get to go out, or the larger, more popular, famous bands usually take out the up and coming to open for them,
Yeah.
or somebody goes out. So 2 questions. One, who was the biggest band that you guys went out with first, like to open for? And then I know that you guys took some bands out to open for you that became huge as well.
For sure. Well,
Primus was the first international band that like. Oh no!
Seven Dust.
Was it Seven?
Seven Dust was doing well at the
Seven
time.
Dust. Yeah.
And they took us out, and we were starting to get known. You know, Southtown was out. I think they started playing our video places.
Badass
and
video,
TV.
by the way.
Yeah. And
That SD vibe.
we were out with Seven Dust at the time, and then Korn was about to do a tour. Oh, was it? No. Then we went with Primus.
Yeah,
Primus took us out,
That was
which
sick.
was like insane because we're huge Primus fans. You know, we were all playing the kind of the same rock scene club, but then our management got a call from Korn, and they were going to do a sick U.S. tour, and that by far would have been the biggest band that we would go out with. And Korn was huge at the time, you know, on top of the game, all over MTV, just killing it everywhere. But we were already on tour with Primus, and my wife was pregnant with my first daughter, and so I would have missed my daughter being born if we would accept it, right? So I remember we got the call, and then these guys everybody was so excited. I'm like, dude, that's when my daughter's gonna be born. And then I was like, I mean, these guys didn't want to show that they were bummed, but they, you know, it was like, oh, it's all good. I mean, it's all good. I'm like, but
dope.
dude, but what was cool? So we couldn't take that because
Probably worked out better.
no,
because-
it worked out better. We couldn't take it because you know we were gonna, my daughter was gonna be born, but then they wanted us so bad that they ended up taking us to Europe instead. Yeah.
Dope.
So then they had a Europe run, and they took us, and then that was the first time we had ever been in Europe.
That was our big introduction to Europe, and
That was
those were arenas, festivals. I mean, they were. This is the biggest European.
we never
Shout out to
experienced.
Korn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we never
that's right.
experienced anything like that. You know what
so
I mean?
they definitely gave us a leg up, like in Europe. You know what I mean? Doing it just out of respect, and they were cool. And it was just us and them, right? Yeah, it was just
and
it was
then
just us and Korn.
local.
which was
You
cool.
know, there was
Was that your first time doing like a big venue or like large
We did
crowds?
big venues before, like radio shows and stuff like that, but like a full blown tour. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean they were doing arenas, you know what I
Yeah,
mean, and it was they had their whole production set up. It was every night we watch them every night, thinking this is insane, you know.
Yeah.
But
was
we
big. It was
had a
cool.
good time. We learned a lot on that run, and then we went to countries that we only read about. You know?
Actually, that's where we met Santana for the first time.
Oh,
too.
shit.
Because we played the same festivals, Rock M Ring or Rock M Park,
In
one
Germany,
of them, one of them two. And that we went the day before. We weren't even playing that day, but we had all our badges, so we're like, let's go down and watch the bands because we got badges to the main stage. First off, me, Sonny, Marcos, and Trey, we go in the elevator. We're waiting to go downstairs, and boom, they open the elevators open
hotel.
up, and freaking Sting walks in,
Oh, shit.
and our jaws drop to the freaking
You guys
floor.
are
Yeah,
huge
we're
Primus
like,
fans. Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? That already blew our minds. So then we go to the festival check-in, go back to the catering area, and boom, Santana's right there. And he comes up to us like, hey, what's up, guys?
Because you guys stood out.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
like-
we knew, you know, obviously we know his roots and stuff, but we saw Carl, we saw all the guys.
Yeah.
And obviously
the percussion guys.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
introduced ourselves, and then I remember we told them, oh, we're P.O.D, we're from, you know, down south San Diego, and they were welcoming, all warm.
Yeah.
I'll never forget because
You guys got
he introduces us to Santana, and he says, hey, Santana, and he's like, this is the homie right here, P.O.D. He's like, oh, P.O.D? He's like,
You got some?
you got some? I'm like, yeah, I wish I did right now for you.
Anything
You'll never
for you.
forget me if
But
I
then,
get
but then he took us. He was getting ready to hit the stage, and he's like, "Come on, follow me."
Yeah, he's like,
And
you
he
guys
brought
want to
it-
sit on the side?
And he pulled us to the side, right? And we were standing right next to Sting because Sting
Yeah.
was watching them too.
Bro.
Yeah.
the
And I was like,
Eurythmics play, like it was old school night.
wow.
So all these legendary acts, you know, and here we are, these new kids, just watching them was like, I can't believe we're here right now, dude.
and then
This
just
is
to cut the thing because it was part of the story. Like fast forward, like maybe 10 years later, you know, he asked us to do a song for one of his records, which we were a part of.
Yeah.
We wrote a song for his record, which was awesome. and then he asked us to pay the Grammys with him. The Latin Grammys.
He's a beautiful person, man.
Yeah.
I think
Totally.
I
man.
mean, there's a lot of people that do understand his depth and acknowledge his greatness,
Yeah,
if you will.
yeah.
Or, like, in my opinion, humbly, like, who's better than him?
Yeah.
Like,
he
who's-
created his own style.
But I mean, he
his own
played
style.
Woodstock.
Yeah, no,
And
he was
that dude's still out there killing it and doing some of the best shows that you'll ever see.
Yeah.
And he's such a beautiful person, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
He's on another level.
He's definitely on another level.
He's on a supernatural
It's
level.
the
no
big-
supernatural.
Yeah.
It's that,
He is, dude. Like, he has energy. He's a trip.
No,
dude.
he's a trip.
First time I met him, I was with the guys from Los Lobos here in San Diego.
Yeah.
They had invited me to a show, and they were opening for him. And me, being a huge fan since I was really like 10 years old or something, because my family would
Yeah.
listen to it. I had an Abraxas album, full album in a bag that I had taken to the show with a silver Sharpie.
Yeah.
Or silver, it wasn't even a Sharpie. It was one of those pens you got to kind of pump, and then
Yeah.
The paint ones?
The paint ones. So I'm like, if I meet him, I'm going to get him to sign this.
Yeah.
Like, and blah, 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 blah. And I met him, and I could barely talk. I was like,
yeah. Yeah, that's how we were.
Louis or one of the dudes from Los Lobos introduced me to him. So then same thing, I go stand side stage, and I'm standing side stage watching the show. And then Carlos, it's a part of the show. He's like a conductor with that band. Like,
Yeah.
he's watching
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
working with everybody eye to eye. Like, you watch that dude, he's working.
Yeah.
Like, and he comes side stage, stands right next to me. I got my stupid bag in my hand.
No sign.
No. And then
Sorry, buddy.
I could not get up the courage to like
Yeah.
interrupt him, because even when he was standing side stage, he was watching everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he was eyeballing, like,
Yeah.
I could see him just who's doing what. He took a
Yeah.
break, took a breather, took a couple sips of water, and I couldn't do it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I gave it to Louis
Oh, there you go.
from Los Lobos, and he had it signed for
Yeah.
me. But long story short, he ended up using that pen I gave him, made a big old mess
Oh yeah. Ruined it.
all
Paint
over my
everywhere.
Abraxas album.
He's like, I never seen a pen like this
yeah,
before.
I got a
He started shaking it.
Yeah, I got a sloppily signed Abraxas album.
Had him put his thumbprint on
But
it.
then
dude.
the second experience was when Marcos and Andy
Yeah.
took Bobble to meet him, and that's a whole
Yeah.
other story. That was like a weird blessing that Carlos gave
Yeah.
Bobble, and he saw something.
Yeah.
Like, he told Bobble,
Yeah.
"You play guitar, huh?" And nothing had been said.
Right.
And Bobble goes, "Yeah, I like, he was super nervous
Yeah,
too."
yeah.
And then he goes, Carlos told him, "I know. Come sit down, Mio." And he
Yeah.
sits him down.
That's
and
crazy.
that's a whole other
yeah, that's
what's
story.
up. Yeah.
That's a whole other story,
Yep.
but it changed. You could definitely see it was a change, but that dude has the craziest energy. But besides Carlos, I know you guys have been able to play with, perform with, tour with, meet. Wait, we should hit the second part of that question first, the other one. So then who did you guys take out when you got big? I know who.
Yeah. The biggest band we took out,
Who got the biggest?
who got the
got the
biggest,
biggest
was Linkin Park. When we took them out, they literally did 15 minutes opening slot. Their label got them on.
Because we didn't want another band on there. We were stacked already.
We had Head P, we had Project 86, we had bands that we kind of knew and already toured with. And but they were on the Warner Brothers system at the time. I think their single was already popping, and they came on, and we just knew that this band was gonna go on to do some big things. You know what I mean?
Of what did you see in them?
I mean, they were all awesome kids. You know what I mean? And we knew that they were tapping into that sound. But we also knew they had the machine
Yeah, the
behind
machine
them.
was definitely
So we
behind
knew it was like, oh yeah, okay. Because even when we would get to know them, and later on we sit around like this and we talk about stories. I mean, if you had those guys in here and you're talking about stories like we were sleeping on a bumper, having $5, eating nothing, they don't have those. They never had those stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're just every band's different. You know what I'm saying? But they went on to just do
Definitely talented dudes.
Oh yeah,
good
yeah.
dudes
all the way
too.
around.
Real,
Yeah,
real
man.
good dudes.
They've
man.
always been good. Even like I said, the first time when we took them out, that's what made it cool. Was that, dude, these guys are awesome. And then they returned the favor and took us out.
Yeah. That was cool.
Right when they were starting to pack in arenas, and to this day was probably still one of the best tours we've ever done.
Yeah. I remember
came-
that
was fun.
That
They
tour.
came to us and they're like, "Hey, you guys took us out," and they actually said it. They're like,
Yeah.
and we're gonna return the favor. Like, we're gonna make you guys main support. You know what I mean? Because what they said was, they're like, we can't sell these arenas out without you guys.
Yeah.
That's what
At
they
the
said.
time. I mean, they
at
were
the
right
time.
at that cusp of,
Yeah.
so they got the right package.
Is that
Yeah.
the one when you guys did the barbecue right here in San Diego? Behind
No, that
San
was
Diego State?
Ozfest. That was Ozfest, wasn't it?
No, that was the other one. That was
Oh,
No,
we
that,
did
that was it. That was a barbecue. Yeah.
no. You guys
We're
did
always
barbecue. You guys did the
Yeah,
barbecue.
we always, you know,
What's
we
wrong
don't
with
do
you guys?
barbecue. Yeah, that's because we played San Diego State.
Yeah, both of them. I remember,
Yeah.
taking Isaac to that when he was a little
Yeah,
kid.
yeah.
Kelly Osbourne stills Isaac like, "Hey, he's okay."
Yeah.
Like,
What the-
yeah. But those were real good times. So
Good days.
So then the next question I wanted to ask you guys. So besides Carlos Santana, who have you met or been able to play with? And you guys probably might have the same answer. You might have different answers that you were like, damn.
I mean, most of the acts that or artists that we've had on throughout our career
that
on
you met
records
or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, for, obviously Satellite, we had HR, which from Bad Brains was a huge, for all of us.
Yeah.
To this day, still one of my favorites. Ika Mouse was on there. Then we'd go on. Mike Muir from Suicidal jumped on a track. Paige from Helmet jumped on a track. So all these bands that we still love to this day. Who else is
Modest Yahoo?
Yeah,
Modest
he
Yahoo
was coming
jumped
up at the time. But we had like Bob Marley's daughters, the Marley sisters sing back up on a reggae track, and so those kind of opportunities are sick. But I'm trying to think.
We even got a little Katy Perry on a track.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Before she
Talk
little
about
Katy
that.
Perry.
Like, I remember that. Tell us about that.
That was Glenn Ballard.
Testify record.
Testify record. We were working with Glenn Ballard, who's done Michael Jackson. I mean,
everybody.
He's got Grammys coming out the whatever. And
collecting dust.
Yeah. So we were in there recording our record, and we needed a female vocal, and he's like, "Dude, I got this girl." Because he was grooming her at the time. Nobody knew who she was. She was always hanging around the
He found
studio.
Alanis Morissette, so he already knew he wanted to do another female artist, so he had her.
So he had her, and he's like, "Dude, let's use Katy Perry."
You guys will love her. She's awesome.
So she came, and she was already kind of hanging around like the studio a little bit. It was a house studio that he had in the
I
valley.
went there, and that's where the Booyah came in.
Yeah,
too.
Booyah
Sick
Tribe.
Jag,
and
everybody,
It was like that, the whole thing. She was hanging out, and she came in and did her tracks, and one thing led to another. And 5 years later, she just blew up.
Right? She was just hanging out. And
She was networking.
She was working the game.
She was doing, starting her career. I mean, she was, now you see her as this pop diva, but back then she was actually kind of this more alternative, hipster kind of, she did Lollapalooza, those Warped Tour, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She actually, she plays the guitar. She would get up there, and you listen to her first record, it's very alternative and kind of not punk rock in the style of music, but an attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you listen to that, you're like, okay, this she's got something. It was, once that record blew though, then she became a pop star. And then, then the machine comes in and, they make you something that you're going to do
Have you guys
whatever.
ran into her at all since then?
We ran into her like at the,
Yeah, we went. Korn used to do a Halloween party at the Hollywood Cemetery.
but I wouldn't say since she became Katy Perry.
she was like barely.
She's on a whole nother pop star level right now,
What's the name of the song if people want to check it out? Do you remember?
Goodbye for now.
So she's on that song.
She's in
on
the
that.
video and everything.
Actually, she did like a couple TV shows with us too. She did CD USA and she
Jay
did
Leno.
Jay Leno with us.
If you look at her, she's very, dude, at the
Homely.
time, she's very homely, like, because she was very punk rock, denim vest jacket, kind of like Pat Benatar hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Pat
bracelets.
Benatar.
She was just like one of the homies coming out,
Yeah.
and she's in a video. If you could check her on the video, and then so you definitely see this kind of this change as as the industry puts their claws in you. You know what I mean? And they make you who they want you to be.
I know you guys have this amazing, pretty badass story just being from, I know where you guys grew up and I know your family obviously and stuff like that. I know, you basically you're from South San Diego and pretty much Del Sol.
Mm-hmm.
And, your dad's, I know Noah's been into music and, you guys have brought up, obviously you're in the same family. So who, what, who and what types of music inspired your sound and your direction? Were you guys always listening to the same kind of stuff, and were you sharing each other as growing up? Were you like, hey, listen to this, or was it later on? Like, were you? Because I know you guys have this big reggae influence too. Like both of you guys really, really love reggae, and I know Sonny's got a project that he beautiful stuff, dude.
Thanks, man.
By the way, I really love it. It's you know, the reggae project, and we'll talk about that too. But who inspired you? What inspired you with the different types of musical diversity that you guys are into?
Our dads grew up together. You know what I mean? Young family, and they were, you know, in that 60s, 70s. You know what I mean? Rock and roll type world. You know, Zeppelin and, you know, all the classics, Cream, AC/DC, Cheap Trick, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. So we always, me and Sonny always kind of had the same likes because, you know, we lived together like pretty much our whole lives, you know what I mean? Grew up together. So we were listening to the same things, and we were listening to what our families were partying to and all that kind of stuff. So we always kind of had that, you know what I mean? Like in our roots. And that's always what we kind of enjoyed. Anything, you know, whether it was funk, you know, Earth, Wind and Fire, whatever. You know, our families liked all that kind of stuff. If it was good, they liked it. You know what I mean? So it was pretty open. And then the reggae stuff, I'll let Sonny talk about it. Our aunt.
Yeah. I mean, Wuv said AC/DC, Zeppelin, all those bands, the classics we all loved. But then, yeah, our aunt Uilani, shout out, she's in Hawaii.
Yeah.
She was with Dimaj Ali, who's they were local DJ here in San Diego. Yeah. Rest in peace. But went on to start 91X Reggae Makosa with Makeda Dread, and so he really kind of started to influence the reggae in all of us. You know, we would go over and we'd throw on the old records and listen to stuff, and you know, obviously the Police, and there was certain things. So we started to get into that, and then once I kind of, you know, we were not even teenagers then, but once I started listening to reggae music and listening to the words, it was more of a conscious thing. And at the same time, hip hop with, you know, Run DMC and Zulu Nation, all this stuff from New York. I started to draw more towards that because to me, it was like, this was a cultured thing. And I was listening to kind of what they were saying, where I just saw rock and roll as kind of sex, drugs, rock and roll. You know, I wasn't getting it. Even though I liked it, it wasn't giving me anything.
Right.
But then, you know, you hear Run DMC and they're telling you, you know, this was poetry. You know what I mean? Hip hop to me was poetry.
Telling stories.
Yeah. And I was learning from that. Same thing with reggae. It was this conscious kind of positive vibe that I really dug. And so I really kind of got onto that. And then, you know, then these guys went through their Metallica and Slayer stage. I never really went that deep into like the heavy stuff. Until a friend of ours, Sal, you know, he was like, dude, I want you guys to check out this band called Bad Brains. And he says, punk stuff. I remember thinking, I don't really like, I mean, I liked Suicidal Tendencies. There was a band called Fear. There was certain bands that I caught a tape, but I liked them because, you know, I liked Suicidal because they were, you know, from Venice, you know, or the brother.
The way they looked. Yeah.
They looked like us.
Somebody
you know,
that grew up
familiar.
with us, yeah.
But when you say punk rock, I thought like Sex Pistols, you know, like
British
you know,
punk.
Mohawk and spikes, and I'm like, this white music. I was like, I don't relate to that. I don't dig that. But then once he showed me the bad, you know, check out these guys, and I saw 4 black dudes, and then all dreads, all rocked out. And once I heard their music, then I was like, what do these guys know that I don't know? You know, why are they doing this white guy's music? That's how I thought as a teenage kid. They're doing white guys' music, and
with
it was
dreads.
Like, with just so, but it was so good. I'm like, they know something I don't. So then it gets you into listening to a lot more stuff, you know, and then you start seeing the hardcore scene. Yeah,
24/7 Spies. A lot of people don't know that band. They're a New York band.
Yeah.
They're kind of cut from the same. They're not as punk rock, but they're a great rock band.
Well, just to see guys of color doing to us at the time was a white dude's music was. What do they know what are they vibing on that we don't know? Yeah. So that's what got in, you know, to that. But then there's the hardcore scene, and you see like there's Minor Threat and Fugazi and 7 Seconds, all these bands. You're like, okay, there's a whole scene going on here. And then, you know, once these guys started jamming and playing keg parties and playing their heavy music, you started to get familiar with a lot of the local guys that were. Yeah. And we come from a neighborhood of color, and there was a scene even then, you know, and so it was always. I don't know. I always found it fascinating that even, you know, these guys of color would they tapped into something that I didn't, you know, whether it was metal or punk or just rock and roll. And then we just started mixing our own flavors.
We didn't even know that like the kind of influence like Chula Vista or like South San Diego was having on the underground like straight edge scene, straight edge hardcore scene. Like everybody you ask like, oh, dude, San Diego, that's the hardcore. That's South San Diego is and we're like, what? Like we didn't know. But there was a band close to us in Chula Vista called House of Suffering, and they had, you know, a black singer, you know, Mexican dudes on guitar, and they were like the big band. You know what I mean? They were just like, oh, we'll go check out their flavor. You know what I mean? And they had flavor. You know what I mean? They would mash it with hip. This was before anybody was doing any of this kind of stuff. I mean, you never heard anybody. There was no Rage Against the Machine. There was no Zach. There was none of that crap.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say crap. Not crap. But I'm just saying, there was none of that. This was the first. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like, it felt like you were a part of something from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, and so that's how our band started kind of like cultivating, like getting our sound. You know what I mean?
I think you guys talking about the beginning, you guys were one of the bands that were out there at the forefront, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it happens.
Sometimes
at the forefront of the whole rap rock thing, right?
Yeah.
Like you guys were right there with these other bands that were coming out.
To go off what Wuv was saying, Zach from Rage, he was actually in a hardcore band called Inside Out. He would come down and watch San Diego bands, and then he saw House of Suffering, and then it was like, okay, then that's what influenced this Rage Against the Machine sound. So we were just doing our own thing. I remember Javi, he saw Rage at like Soma's back in the day, and he brought back this cassette tape. At this point, they were already signed to their label. They had like the hookup, whatever. They were signed to a major. And I remember him bringing it to us and be like, dude, check these guys out. They killed it last night. And you guys sound like each other. So once we first heard that first Rage disc or cassette, we're like, dude, this is so good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're like, this is okay. So we knew
that you're on the right path.
Somebody's doing it. And then later on, we got a demo. Somebody went to somewhere and they brought back this demo of this band called Downset. And Downset's from LA. And then we listened to that. We're like, okay, this is sick.
Yeah.
Same thing, guys from the neighborhood, graffiti, hip hop, kind of this culture. But then even when we were listening to the song, the demo song was called Anger. And at the time, one of the homies was telling us, listen to the lyrics. Ray from Downset is actually dissing Zach on this song called Anger, because here's this LA underground kind of sound, and he was under the pressure. Same thing that Zach and all these Rays, that they're not on our level. They're not legit. I mean, that's not my words.
Yeah.
That's there.
That was just, it was like a battle.
It was a battle, and that's what hip hop did.
Respond?
No, I don't even think he or never really did anything. But if you listen to Anger, the second verse, what I've been told, is all about Zach, and he kills him. I mean, to this song, I'll still throw on Anger from Downset. Anger, hostility towards the opposition. You're like, yo,
I should cover that,
dude. But then when you know that he's talking about Zach, you're like, oh, dude, he's, But then Rage, obviously Rage is Rage. They went on to do their thing. You know what I mean?
Do you have some?
No.
Keep it down, all right?
Johnny, man,
keep it down, dude.
Johnny. So the other thing was, Rage, man.
Oh,
they just slay it. They're just on the top. Homie.
I did that. That's the crown right there.
That's it.
And it's, they were supposed to play Coachella right before COVID, right? Weren't they going to have Coachella?
Yeah.
They were going to put up with each other long enough to play a set.
No, they were going to tour.
That's right.
Yeah, they were going to tour. And then, the Prophets thing was fun. That was cool.
It's
easy to tour, man, when everybody's got their own bus, dog. I'll tell you that much. Straight up.
That's what they do.
Who knows what their guarantee is? They're like, you know what? I'll play.
Their guarantee's $1 million.
I don't like you, but I'll play.
I'll get on stage with you for an hour and a half at night and then go back to my bus.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I know there's other bands like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you I know you both have side projects that you're working on. Tell us a little bit about Stillwater.
Stillwater.
Stillwell.
You know all about it, Bobby. You're the
one, don't tell me. Tell the listener.
Bobby. Well, we all been friends. Phil D from Korn and Q Unique. You introduced me to Q a long time ago, and Q and Phil, he wanted to do this project, and you kind of were the brainiac of like putting the three guys together. You know what I mean? As far as like,
I appreciate that. Wuv.
As far as like, hey, you guys should do it with Wuv, or hey, Wuv, you should do it with Phildy, and you were just kind of like stirring the pot around,
being
you know
a
what
pain
I mean?
in the ass.
Yeah, just fun because you know what I mean.
It's always.
I've always been satisfied with my band. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never sought out to do like a side project because I'm bored or something like that. You know what I mean? I love playing. I'll play with anybody, but I've always been fulfilled as far as like
musically. Yeah,
musically, what I'm doing, and it's turned into a job. You know what I mean? A career over 30 years. So, I was never really looking like that. But once we got together, you know what I mean? We recorded the first record. I don't know how long ago at my house, at Philly's house, actually at the old Tribal, the one that was on Home Avenue. Messed around with that, and then Korn took us out. We got to open up all through the States, Canada, and Europe, which was fun. And we just kind of been steadily like putting out little music here and there, you know what I mean? But I think on this last record we did, which is the third one, is the one where everybody kind of took it a little more serious. And so, we actually got in a real studio, took our time to do the songs right. And so now, after I think it's been like 12 years, you know what I mean? Or 13 years,
and Q is kind of transformed from hip hop.
Yeah, exactly. He's a
metal, like
big underground rapper, and he's got his own thing going on.
And
he
tours with Korn, like he's on tour with Korn.
He's actually their keyboard player now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
he's
their keyboard player. He did the live stream with them. That was his first gig.
Shit.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Shout out Q Unique. I know that he's go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so I mean that's it. That's still well. You know what I mean? It's just a mixed bag of.
And it's changed.
Artists.
The first album, there was a track on there that I loved. I forgot what it was called. It was kind of buried in the first album.
Yeah.
But it was my favorite song, and we talked about it. Was it you and me, or I think it was Q and me, but it was the one that Q
Street Metal.
Yeah,
Street Metal.
I love that song, dude. That was
a good. That
was
a good. I always wanted him to kind of go that direction.
Yeah, to me that was like that hit. That was it.
But he wants to sing. He's already a rapper, and he's rapping in that. He wants to be like he wants to sing. You know what I mean?
But Street Metal, to me, that's the sound. That was kind of like, this was just what I thought at that that time when I heard it. Like, oh shit, they nailed it with this one. It was right where it needed to be. Yeah. And then Sonny,
kind of like Wuv said, I've never done anything outside guest appearances on stuff, but when COVID happened, it was just kind of just something to do, and I was. Here we are locked in home. I started just getting online and started connecting with all these different guys all around the world that were just, they have beats for sale. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I started looking up reggae rhythms, and I found all these different sites where these guys would have tons of these reggae rhythms and stuff. And then I was like, I would like them, and I would just say, "Hey, dude!" I bought them. You kind of like you lease them.
That's great.
Yeah, you lease them, and I would actually
you lease them
because they do. You
give them a deposit, or
no? You do. You just buy. You buy it for nothing.
Yeah.
But it's their music. But in my mind, I was like, dude, I got Logic at home. I got a mic. I'm gonna throw it on.
I heard you got a real cool vocal booth.
My closet, dude. It's got its own insulation.
That's the best
It's got
way,
a tribal insulation in there.
When he told me, he goes, "Yeah, I just run a mic into my closet.
Straight up, close the door,
put on some headphones, and
tell everybody."
You learn a lot.
Yeah,
recording over the years. You're like, you don't really need that much.
With today's technology, you don't. I mean, back in the day, you did, but now, we can do it in our bathroom. But I would contact these guys, whether it was DM, and be like, "Hey, dude, I want to." Let me throw some words down, and they would see that it's me, and they'd be like, "Sick, homie, whatever." From Argentina, Germany, Mexico, Greece, and so I've been in contact with the guys online that I've never even met in person, and so it was something fun to do. But then once I started doing, I'm like, man, I really dig this. You know what I mean? I'm really having fun doing it. So it's just
real vibey.
It's just something I did.
Dope.
I plan on. Obviously it doesn't interfere with P.O.D. Like I plan on just doing it because now it's all about content. You gotta put stuff out, and I'm I know Marcos is doing other stuff. Like we need to do that as a band because people there's no more patience with today's 5-second technology. They want they want stuff now. And so if we can continue to just put out stuff and be creative,
Yeah, it helps the band.
and it
dude.
was, I think for me, it was just a way to be creative. I've relied on the band so much to just, it's part of who I am, but I've always wanted to do something on my own, but probably never had the courage to do it just because, I'm not used to standing on my own, you know what I mean? So, but again, I think COVID kind of really just pushed me it was just having fun.
Just to set the record straight, I always told Sonny, I'm like, you need to do your solo stuff, bro. For real, always.
Yeah.
And Q Unique, going back to Q Unique, he was sending me hip hop beats because he's doing other stuff and he's like, jump on a track. And I'm like, well, then if I would jump on your track, you jump on my track. And he's sending me beats. And I
The
was
stuff
like,
Sonny did with Q is sick.
I'm like, this is cool.
I've heard
heard
it.
that.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
it's sick.
They're both rapping?
Yeah,
some
because I want to do
some rapping and some reggae stuff too.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah,
I want to do.
Really?
I mean,
yeah, it's sick.
to me, like going back to Q Unique, he's as far as hip hop goes, you know what I mean? He's like, dude, he's sick.
Yeah.
And so for me and him to do something to me, it's cool,
And rock steady.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So what is the project called? Is it?
I don't know. I had. It's funny because on my.
So if anybody wants to hear it, they just Google. I don't know.
Yeah, no. There's nothing out right now, but I plan.
You did post something. Or
I had
heard
posts during
something.
COVID, just like 2 short
Oh
videos
wait,
of.
no, you emailed.
Yeah. No,
That's how I heard.
I
something.
had did just recently. I hooked up with these cats, OG cats from Long Beach, Gil Miggs and Raj, and they did a dub record. Same thing. I follow them, so they had put out like a video of one of their dub tracks, and I'm like, sick, homie. I'm like, you need some words on those dubs, and then they write back, dude, I'll send you the stems right now. So that kind of connect, and then having fun, just did it. Then they're like, all of a sudden they're like, we should just put this out as a single, So they did. So they dropped a single.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, and then another cat, a friend from Hawaii. I love doing collaborations. Or like I do it right in my closet. Yeah. And so all of a sudden he throws me on his record. Just an independent kid.
That's what I heard.
It's like number 1 in Kauai right now in Hawaii. Which is sick.
What's it called?
Rage. Thomas Iannucci he's a rapper guy, but he did more of a Hawaiian reggae kind of track.
So if people want to hear it, they look up. What's his name?
Thomas Iannucci, and the song is called Rage. Gil Miggs and Raj, I did a song called Broken Hearts Club.
Dope.
So I have tunes. I'm ready to just. Nowadays, you can just throw it out anywhere you want. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to figure out where to throw it out.
So has P.O.D. started? I know you guys have been rehearsing and getting ready. You got shows coming up again, which is a beaubeautiful thing.
Yeah.
You got a tour in the books.
Yeah.
Have you guys just been rehearsing pretty much? Or are you writing or rehearsing and writing? Or?
We're writing. We have some rough sketches of stuff, but during COVID, it's kind of been hard to get together. Now Trey lives in Nashville, so it's been hard to get together. We've gone up to LA a few times just to work with the heavy, but we pretty much been concentrating on our 20th anniversary of Satellite because we had planned on touring for a whole year, front to back doing the record. So I think that's kind of getting pushed back to 2022. As much as I'd love to at least finish a P.O.D. record, I still in my mind it doesn't make sense. I mean, that's just my opinion because I'm hoping that we're touring for the next year, 13 months straight, and making some money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Putting out a whole record that's a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
Whereas
it takes away from it, and like we put out records nonstop. You know what I mean? And it's just like not to say that we don't love those records, but they kind of like they need attention. You know what I mean? And for us to give it attention, like we got to be like all in, and like Sonny said, we got to be touring. And so I think that's going to take precedence over like us freaking banging out 12 songs.
Yeah,
right
just
now,
do a record to do a record.
I don't want to just do a record.
It's time to do a record for sure. But to us, celebrating our anniversary record right now, not only are we excited and happy about that, but that's what's going to make us the most money right now. Is people. That's how this band survives. We put out records. Nobody buys records these days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you kind of have to be selfish in a way and say like, dude, I want to put out a new record, but I got to do what pays our bills.
So when's the first one with an audience?
Sturgis,
right?
August 14th.
Yeah,
August
that's
14th.
Literally 2 months. I think it's August 14th to like October 10th, so we're going on 2 months.
So that'll be a nice little tour. You know what I mean? To kick off. That's a 2-month tour.
Yeah, and then you go from there to Miami, right? Because you do your
exactly.
old school, old school way of touring.
We'd be broke
For bad
putting
memories.
the gas in the tour bus now. You know what I mean? We'd be
Yeah.
like, I don't know if we can afford those overdrives.
Oh, yeah.
good.
Will you guys feel comfortable like performing in front of a
Oh
front of a
yeah,
crowd?
yeah.
Oh,
Because I
Heck yeah.
imagine in Sturgis it's just gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
like normal, like how it used to.
Yeah,
be.
but that's what I mean, dude. That's when you have to say. And I don't really. I never like to pump my fist like we're professionals, man. Because I don't really think that way, but we are professionals. You know what I mean? And like
We surprise ourselves.
we'll just turn it on. It'll just be like
Yeah.
it'll be like nothing. There
It's
we
a
go.
machine.
I think
bro.
we're gonna be
Yeah.
so excited just to be.
Might throw our backs out. The
Yeah,
first
yeah.
night 'cause
That's
we're
that's my biggest worry. Just don't
Yeah.
don't blow it all the first
might just
day.
jump
you
on
know?
the
Marcos will
There
throw
you
his
go.
coccyx out. You know what I mean?
I think I fractured
Coccyx.
Dude, I'm telling you, just for me, because I throughout the last 30 some years, I travel a lot. I'm always overseas or out of the office or, at least 6-7 times a year.
Yeah.
I'm going someplace, and COVID's been like, I'm getting a little stirred
Yeah,
crazy
right.
now. I'm sure you guys are feeling the
Yeah.
same, because it's not that I don't love being home and I don't love being here in the building.
Yeah.
It's for me, it's just time for me to reset.
Yeah.
Get some me time, just kind of disconnect for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Not completely disconnect, but take a breather.
Well, it's become part of who you are. you
Yeah.
know?
And also, I mean, I get inspired
Yeah.
when I travel, and I come back, and most of the time I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Like, I'm ready. What do we got?
yeah.
You know what I mean? And you guys are probably the same way. It's like,
Yeah.
ready to hit the road, and you miss the bus.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I do miss the bus. And before, I'd come back from touring, you'd be like, well, so how's it? I'm like, I'm just freaking burnt.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's all good. But now I'm like, I can't wait to be in the bunk.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean?
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
What do you see your
Truck
music?
stops the whole 9.
Yeah, right.
Walmart.
You probably have your
Walmart.
favorite ones.
4
too, your
a.m.
favorite-
Walmart runs. You know what I mean? Like my
Waffle
nephew
House.
Justice is right here. He's like nodding his head because he comes on the road with us too all the time, so he knows
Dude,
what's up.
his dreads are badass.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
too,
I'm getting there.
Yeah. He did. Are you playing an instrument?
Drums.
Drums?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he getting him sing yet?
If he wants to, he's been jamming. Shibby-doo.
He's
been-
practicing his kickflip.
Yeah. He's skating. He's playing the drums. He's got on the Logic. He's messing with the keys, and so he's trying to, you YouTube a bunch of videos and try to learn chords. and
It's
stuff.
dope seeing our kids, your nephews,
Yeah.
Wovey's sons, Justice, my boys, like coming who they are, since we've known.
Yeah.
We've all watched all these kids
Yeah.
since they were born. It's cool seeing them, Nevaeh.
Yeah,
just seeing the kids where they're at now and how they've, they're artists. Like,
Yeah,
they're all artists. Like, pretty much, right?
Artists being artists.
We're just artists being artists.
Artists.
and it's cool. It's cool to see them interacting and doing
Heck
some
yeah.
stuff and just being in the building or hanging out. And,
Yeah,
You just want
it's been
them
a
to
lifetime. Dude.
find-
It's been
yeah.
a lifetime for sure.
yeah,
You just want them to find what they love. You know what I mean? What they're passionate about.
yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
So do you see your next? We'll talk about that next record that someday is going to happen.
Yeah.
Are you feeling anything right now? Like, is there anything that's inspiring you, or is there anything that you really think is? Because for me personally, new shit, there's not a lot of new shit out there that I'm feeling right now. Like I find myself, like, currently for the last maybe 6 months, I'm back into trip hop. Like, the stuff I was listening to,
Yeah.
like, European lobby, hotel
Yeah,
lobby.
yeah,
music.
yeah,
But it's
yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like Portishead and
Oh, I love
sick.
Portishead. I do love
like
Portishead.
Massive Attack.
Yeah.
And, stuff like that.
Sick.
I'm really like, that's my vibe right now, because it's kind of laid back, and I'm kind of like, once in a while I still get in. I'll listen to some Rage.
I was in his car just bumping that lobby music.
Hell yeah, yeah. Pull up
elevator to
pull
his
up
car.
in the low with
Yeah,
like some
yeah, yeah.
hotel lobby.
Yeah, we'll see if that works.
I don't really care.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
the weird one, anyways.
That's fun.
I'm always a different one. But what are you guys feeling? Is there anything that you're feeling right now, or direction that you think P.O.D. is headed in, or?
I feel like you. I mean, we've never. It's hard to compete when a lot of the stuff that's hitting or the stuff that's on radio. you know, we don't.
You could say garbage.
I personally don't care for.
Yeah.
No.
I love all the people and their friends.
Yeah.
We're just different. We've always done our own thing. You know, we have soul, we have culture. You can dance to our music. There's a lot more depth to it, you know. And unfortunately, it goes under the radar because it's not as entertaining, or it's not what your average rock fan, metal fan wants to hear. There's just it's too much flavor. You know, that's how I say it. It's like some people like, you know, McDonald's, or some people like, you know, they like their macaroni and cheese. You know, and we have this kind of goulash or this gumbo of like every flavor from around the world. It's too much for some people. That's how I see it. Sometimes it's just too much. So people don't appreciate it. They don't give it a shot.
Well, radio don't appreciate it.
I'll stick to my mac and cheese. I'll stick to my chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think the trick is to it's not a trick because we've never really tried to follow that. But unfortunately, you just have to do what makes us happy at the end of the day in doing our kind of music. And there's nothing new under the sun. We always say that. It's not like there's nothing. It's everything's just being kind of recycled. You know, I think it's coming back around where we can be as hip hop as we want to. We could be as punk or reggae or heavy as we want, or make the record we want to make. If you listen to our last record, it's not heavy at all. You know, it's got so, you know, but it's hard to please everybody. Some people are like, when are you guys gonna do a real heavy record? It's like, dude, I'm sick of playing with heavy metal bands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go to like, you look and I can't even read their names. You know, the script on their names. I can't even read it on the flyer.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, dude, we're not that band. Why do we always play with these death metal bands? We're not that band. You know, like we should be playing Coachella. You know what I mean? We should be playing this or that. But sometimes it's just we've got lumped into a certain
I started
thing.
visualizing the letters of those real heavy bands, and you know, I could read letters. That's kind of what I do. But
it's graffiti to the 50,000 power. The band is. How do you spell that, Holmes? Like, bro,
If it was up to me, we wouldn't do a record. I'm always just like, let's just drop singles.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have to do a full record?
Yeah.
Like, if we come up with something sick,
just
I'm
drop
like, dude,
it.
that's
And a
cracking.
video?
Just
I
drop
can
it.
see you guys doing a full reggae album or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, we talked about that
Something
too.
Like as P.O.D, like a reggae kind of vibey.
With every record we have,
because I
we
know
have-
both you dudes. When you
Yeah.
get a chance, you're on an island somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Like you guys are water. Like you love the water. You love the islands. You love, you know, this Southern California vibe that always finds us like doing something that's, you know, under palm trees and shit, you know, but I could see you guys. I mean, you've already done stuff like that, obviously, but I think doing a whole record around that could be.
We talked about doing
We've talked
that.
about that.
We talked about doing like a straight
half
hardcore
punk, half
record.
hardcore, half
the rap
reggae.
rock thing. Like I know some kids are looking back now and listening to some rap
Actually,
rock stuff.
I actually
like
got a DM from some kids the other day, like, "Hey man, you guys are our heroes. Check this out." And he's like, and he posted his not their video, but their them jamming live in their studio. And I clicked on it, and I was like, "Dude, this is sick."
See, that's what's
dude.
up.
Like,
That's what I'm waiting for.
I was like, wow. I was like, I just went like,
Sick.
hey man, this is two singers. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
kind of like
love
a Linkin Park thing. But the music was groovy and heavy, and I was like, man, I go, dude, I'm shocked. This is freaking awesome.
Dope.
They hit
Yeah,
me up.
so
I'm
it's
like,
cool.
dude, this is so sick, and you guys are never gonna make it. It's too sick.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
It's too good, guys. So hang it up now. Or just accept it. It's so good.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna be playing locally
you
forever.
better go tattoo your face real quick. You might make it in a couple.
Go put something really stupid on your face or a gimmick, and you might
some
make
colored
it.
hair.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
go buy a nice grill, and
Yeah.
maybe you got a shot.
Yeah. No, I like Wuv too. I a lot of the times you get DMs and you know, it's like getting a demo back in the day, but you'll go and you'll start to search them out and you're like, this band is sick, dude. Like, you know,
I was shocked.
So I always keep my ears open for that band.
Whatever the next, and that's the thing. There's always got to be some next shit.
Oh, there's stuff
you're right.
out there.
I'm still kind of. There hasn't been a lot. I mean,
It ain't mainstream, that's for sure. But there's especially with socials, you can come across some sick stuff. You're like, dude, these guys are sick, dude.
but if they're too sick, they ain't gonna.
Yeah. But just
You guys, the industry,
stop being so sick.
You're too dope for the industry. Trust me.
Yeah,
bro.
stay underground.
Stay underground.
Yeah.
Put it out yourself.
Hey, Wuv. So it's obvious because of your social media
Yeah.
and because I see you and I talk to you all the time.
Yeah.
that you're badass construction dude. You're good. You know how to build shit. Like
I like to build stuff.
like you. I see you doing some shit that I'm like, this dude's nuts. Like climbing up 4 stories, fixing a balcony, and then you put a dude. How did you learn how to do all that? Like that's
Me and Sonny did it back in the day. I mean, we used to work for my dad, and like Sonny said earlier on, in between tours and stuff, my son was young and stuff, and my dad ran out of work one time. He pitched me off to these 3 badass carpenter guys, you know what I mean? And I just thought these guys were because I needed to work, you know what I mean? I needed to take care of my family and stuff. And so I got put on with these guys, and I learned a lot fast with these guys, but I respected them because I was like, dude, like, I can't believe we built this like in a day. And, they had all the tools and their truck was looking all dope. And I was just kind of always like on the side, like tripping on them. And I learned through those guys. And I've always loved to work with tools and do carpentry stuff like that because I just think it's cool. Plus, it's what Jesus did. That's the real reason.
That's the real reason.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so
man,
holy.
I mean, during COVID, you know what I mean? Like we ain't got it like that. Like I gotta hustle.
Yeah.
I gotta work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, and then also, I think God knows for me, like idle time is the devil's playground for me. So I have to always be like, I need to wake up early in the morning. I have to like be tired at night. You know,
like
what I mean?
right now, you've been yawning. And it's
Yeah, it's just that's just part of my personality. You know what I mean?
He's ready for me.
You know what I mean? So that's what I've been doing, just building stuff. Yeah.
No,
He's gotta get up early.
No, homie, I'm not. You're not like some bullshit carpenter. You're good ass carpenter. I see that. So I got to get you to the. I'm just saying this.
You're trying to get me to.
He wants a
finish.
bid, right?
No, Bobby's got all this stuff. He's like, but there's gonna be some leftover stuff that I need to be finished up.
See, he sees right through me all the time. Webby's good at that. Web knows me. He's one of those. He's one of my friends that sees through all my bullshit. Fuck,
buddy.
Caught me again.
Anytime.
And Johnny, we can't get him to like.
Johnny, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but
Shout out to Johnny. Johnny
be good.
Johnny
man.
he was kind enough to for me and my wife when we got married. He brought my wife in on the lowrider, and I got to drive it out.
That was
to
cool.
the wedding.
He
That was
let
really
you
cool.
drive it?
I drove it.
Dude,
I
he
drove.
wouldn't let me drive it.
I drove it from the hotel, from the one hotel, from the spot to the other hotel.
Yeah, it was
and
cool.
that was cool.
yeah.
Man.
I rode in the Rumble Seat and videoed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
So shout out to Johnny. That was sick.
Johnny's got the sick 36 Packard convertible with
tight.
hydraulics.
Yeah, it's got all kinds of stretch marks now. Though.
Yeah.
That's because he doesn't lay off the switches. He's always riding it. Johnny's down to ride him into the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, but anyways, is there anything? So first, we're gonna pump the live the what's
Live
it,
streaming, live stream event.
live
It's not
Worldwide.
live. Concert series stream.
Concert
How about
series
that?
stream. We're learning the terms too,
Okay,
bro.
yeah. So we're gonna call it the concert series stream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
P.O.D. stream.
POD, a 3-night event. They're going to be spread out a week apart or so.
2 weeks,
2 weeks
starting
2
May
weeks apart.
13th. Yeah.
You could buy all 3
Bundles.
of
Yeah.
them, or you could buy all 3 of them and a T-shirt,
Yeah, which is
a
We're
tribal
working
on
POD,
tribal
tribal
t-shirt.
POD shirt.
What you want to get.
Yep.
You could buy just one.
One if you want.
one
It's
if you
cheaper to
want.
do the 3 all together. And then there's also, we're going to be doing a VIP Zoom meet and greet after each concert. We'll be
You'll be able to come into our homes.
Yeah,
with us.
yeah. We'll be. I want to say we'll each be in our own homes on Zoom
exactly.
with whoever gets the VIP package, and then we'll be able to have one-on-one questions and stuff like that. So it's technology,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
cool.
badass. So,
Yeah.
and then to do that, you just check their social media.
Yeah,
It'll be on their
Babylon
website.
Dev.
It'll be on their social media. It'll be all over the place.
We'll
once
put the
everyone-
links as well, or the tags on
Sick.
it. Oh, there you go.
See,
Son-
look at Johnny the
son-
solver.
son Dizzle.
He
Johnny
just
the
solved it
son-
right
dude,
there.
He's got. See, that's what.
Tell them all the technical
I don't
stuff.
know shit about this, bro. I don't know anything about all these technology. Like Johnny's.
That's why he's not talking.
Johnny's
He's doing.
Put it this way: this podcast would not exist
Yeah,
without
exactly.
Johnny. And then we also have artistic throws in there too sometimes.
Yeah, that's sick.
Johnny's a badass. But anyways, I love you guys.
Love you,
This
Bobby.
is,
You too, brother.
This is family right here.
Big time.
I appreciate you taking the time. This is your platform. If there's
Yes.
any time you guys want to just jump on, do whatever, got something to say, whatever it is.
Well, I want to come back and I want to interview Johnny.
Yeah, dude.
That would be dope. You
See,
imagine like
now I'm
getting
gonna force you to
POD.
talk.
You imagine doing a reverse like
Yeah,
type interview.
see?
Yeah.
Exactly, homie.
Exactly.
But he is a real interesting dude.
Yeah.
But you're right.
No,
That
Johnny's
is a
right?
great idea.
Random
Yeah.
questions.
We're gonna do that. We should do that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I'm
Today
down.
on today's
I'm down.
podcast.
Johnny was when he's still up in Escondido, right?
Yeah.
Johnny, when he comes down, when he's like going down downtown, he'd be like, "Hey, Wubby, what's up? I'm heading downtown. What bar do you want to meet me at, homie?"
I remember seeing you like you and we were driving. Actually, I think it was with you. We were driving down Fifth or one of those. We
Yeah.
seen you and Rich like out there, like
Yeah,
doing
chilling.
what you guys do. Like,
He'd
random,
always
you
give me
know
the heads
what?
up. Johnny be like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna be kicking it downtown. Like, where
Hey, if
should
you're
I
making
meet
the
you at,
trip
homie?"
from
Yeah,
Escondido, I mean,
Yeah, it's
good to know
Always
people.
good hangs. Always good hangs.
Drives it all over the place, but payable on death.
Yes.
P.O.D. The 619 San Diego Southtown, the lower left podcast, Tribal Click, all of that.
Tribal Familia.
That's right. Lower left podcast, 17th and Island, San Diego, California.
Episode 2000. They made it.
Yes, sir.
We made it.
We finally made room for P.O.D. We're out.
Later.